5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hello, everybody. This is Alex Bennett, and we will be here, hopefully, until midnight tonight. But as we start off today, we want to start off with somebody we usually start off with. All right, let's do something we always do. Let's call Stephen Pearl. Okay, here we go. Let me see here. Is it calling him? Is it calling him? Let me see here. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is it calling? It should be calling. Are you there? No, it's a camera. Hello.
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 Is this a bus station?
Yeah.
What time you got buses leaving for Sheboygan? Hello. I got nothing clever today.
I got something clever for you. Say hello.
What you got for?
Say hello, Larry.
What?
It's your old friend Larry Bubbles Brown.
Oh, it's Bubbles. Bubbles from the Big Red Bridge. Say, nah.
Yeah, I thought I'd get lazy.
Jam today.
I hear you own the place now.
I work here and there more than I did up there. It's a wonderful. It's a winter wonderland. So, yeah, Pitta wants to move down here. He called me the other day. The floodgates have opened.
Pitta
I
wants.
heard a bunch of people are going there. Then now rents are starting to go up there.
They're going up everywhere. There's nothing you can do about that. It's not nearly as bad as it is up there, of course. And there's only certain places where you walk in syringes and feces and bodies. They're all cordoned off. It's not ever. This is my impression of walking down.
Feces and syringes.
Yeah, this is walking down Market Street. Feces, syringe, dead guy, passed out guy. Feces, syringe, dead guy, passed out guy. Soon the Throckmorton Theater will be an empty warehouse full of cobwebs and memories. Everyone would have moved to Vegas, and I started it. Oh, why?
Hey, Stephen, back off your phone just a little bit because you're louder than Larry.
How's that?
Yeah.
How's this? I'll talk softer.
Much better.
Much better.
So when's the last time you talked to Larry? When's the last time you talked to Larry?
Probably over a year ago when I was up there. I haven't been up there enough since I moved.
Right,
well, I moved and then.
Yeah, we miss you, buddy.
Actually, I moved, and then a week later I came back up there to do the Throckmorton Comedy Day. Then I came back down again, and I've been down ever since.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm doing. There's nothing up there for me, man. There's just insane rents, and there's hardly any gigs. In fact, when there is a gig, there's usually the mighty, the Holy Trinity. It's usually Bubbles, Pitta, or Johnny Steele up there.
Yeah.
So those guys have the Three Stooges have the town sewn up. So there's one guy who books just these guys and nobody else. Who's that guy? John, whatever his name is. Tonight, Bubbles. Tonight, Johnny Steele. Tonight, Mark Pitta. The next week, Johnny Steele. Okay, tonight, Bubbles will headline. Next week, Johnny Steele will headline. And the week after that, Pitta can headline. And we'll switch it around. Because they're the only 2-3 guys I book.
Is he?
We don't get that much work. I don't know. I wish I did.
The only time I look at someone up there tonight, it's Bubbles and Johnny Steele and the other guy, the other Pitta.
Yeah.
It's the same 3 guys. They keep booking over and over. So you guys, I would stay up there since you got it sewn up, baby.
We got to bring the dinosaur show to Vegas.
Yeah, I can't wait to make $100 down here. That's why I do the Throckmorton once a year, which is a great gig, and then we do like the Punchline once or twice a year. Then that was it.
I know. There's nothing up here.
And there's nothing up there. It's over. It ended in the 90s, man. Fuck, I don't want to be up there anymore. And I found it kind of depressing. I was kind of like, it felt like when I went back up there, I felt like I was going back to high school. You know, like, I don't want to be back here again. It's got to be another place.
Since had you out in the competition, it died.
There you go. It could have been me, baby. I could have been on BET. It could have been me wearing a purple suit. But no.
I was trying to think that
Could've
was
been-
85. That was it was Sinbad, Ellen, you, Kravitz, and Evan Davis.
Yep, that's what. You got it.
And guess who won, ladies and
I think-
gentlemen? Guess who won out of that group? Give the group again, Bubbles. Who was there?
Sinbad, Ellen DeGeneres, Stephen Pearl, Stephen Kravitz, Evan Davis.
Okay, those were the people competing in the finals of the comedy competition. Who do you think won, ladies and gentlemen? Tell them, Bubbles.
Sinbad.
Yes.
Sinbad. Yeah, he showed Ellen. He sure showed her. What's she done since then? Nothing.
You know, but wait a minute. Hasn't that always been the case with a comedy competition? I mean, there was a year that Robin Williams was in it in the very beginning, and somebody else won.
Yeah,
the first one.
Yeah.
That was the first one. Bill Farley beat him.
Some guy named Bill Farley beat him and was never heard of again.
Yeah, I know. I think he's working in Men's Warehouse now.
What are some of the other failures? Some of the other people who lost and then went on to great stuff, and the people who won didn't.
Oh, I think Roseanne came in like 31st out of 30. I think Steve Wright came in like almost dead last or something. These no talent bums who went nowhere.
Yeah.
And there's got to be some others.
Yeah. So it never really produced stars, did it?
No, it
No,
should have.
people were the stars. The stars that came out of it were already like kind of on their way and already very good at the time. So it never made any stars.
Yeah.
They said the best.
Not that.
You were the judge.
I was a judge in the finals, and I never wanted to be a judge because I knew that nobody would agree with the result if I was a judge, and they didn't. You know, the only reason Warren Thomas won is because he's Alex's friend.
Exactly.
And I went there. I went there with my girlfriend, Xanthi, who was on one side of me, and my friend Shecky from the Letterman show, who was on the other side of me. And I said, look, I'm going to vote here. And if you think that I'm voting wrong or that I'm voting my own personal preferences, let me know. And so I voted this way and that way and this way and that way, and they said you voted perfectly. You voted like we would have voted. But what happened was it was a combination of the votes from two nights, and both nights Warren Thomas came in second, but somebody else came in first the first night and somebody else first the second night, so it didn't average out, but the average of the being second made him the winner. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had that weird.
The numbers like it's like Trump winning the election. It just happened.
Yeah. And so
this year they had the biggest debacle was some girl won the final night. She won, and then an hour later they discovered they'd made a mistake. Everybody was gone, and she turned out she lost.
Oh, really?
It's like the Oscars.
Oh, really? Oh, boy.
An hour and a half after the fact.
Well, I never.
Would they have to send a carrier pigeon to her house with the bad news or something?
Well, I
jumped out the window that night.
I never liked the comedy competition.
I can't believe they still have it.
Brought the worst out in everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, it was ugly. It was the beast. It was the ugly beast.
Yeah, and somehow you felt you had to do it, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was made a deal. I was told I would headline like this many times if I did it, and I was told I would also be a finalist no matter what. And one night I looked at the scores, and they were juggled in my favor. This is an 85, so.
Wow.
They're all going to be in my new book, Busting the Whole Scene Wide Open.
Well, I never knew that it was that crooked. You know, I
like the Chicago election in the 20s, man.
What?
Mr. Capone says Mayor Seamark's going to win. Say,
what were you saying, Bubbles?
I didn't know that they guaranteed you a spot in the finals.
Oh yeah, sure. They said you'll be a finalist, and this will happen, and this will happen, and this will happen, and they kept their word. So it was crooked. Say, Johnny Rocco was the judge. The guys are coming back. Say,
oh boy. Oh boy!
Yeah. Too much. This is like being at the Sugar Plum without the Coke.
Yeah, but I just felt that the only competition that is real is the competition of being good and maybe getting to the next level in the comedy business. You know what I'm saying?
I never got there, but I read about it.
No, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, that's the kind of competition. If you're going to talk about a comedy competition, that's the kind of competition that counts in the end.
The contest was formed to make the Foxes money, and there you have it. So
yeah. Who owns it now? Foxes still own it, or do they sell it out?
I think they still own it. It's like owning the same car from 1978.
What were you saying?
Barely runs, but they still own it.
Let me defer to Bubbles here because he's got the weaker signal of the two of you.
He has the clamshell.
Yeah, well, of course. That's the problem. He's got the fucking clamshell. You've got an iPhone. Right?
I know. Bubbles has to turn the wind on. Hello, Sarah. Give me AOL.
It's Landline Larry.
It's the only. It's
Landline Larry.
He has the
Landline Larry.
His cell phone is so old. How old is it? That there's a crank on it. You know.
So ask that Sarah to give him a number. There's an operator who's named Sarah.
Hello, Sarah. Can you hear me? Would you give me so and so? Yeah.
Jerry Mount Pilot. Yeah, sure, get it, Eddie. They're having a rally down there. They're all in the clan house.
Gee, I'm old, but I never had a crank phone. I never had one of those phones that cranked. That went back to the very beginning, I think. But anyway, I mean, I always consider the comedy competition just a complete and utter farce.
It was evil every August.
And that year when Warren won, it was like they were having a lynch mob after me. And that's why I didn't want to do it. I mean, the Foxes, these were the people who ran the comedy competition, every year begged me to be a judge. And every year I said, no, I don't want to be a judge because I don't want to have to judge people that I like or that I know or judge people that I can't stand.
Exactly, yeah. I got to MC it, so I got to decide who got the encore point, who didn't.
I can't remember, but I think
in '86.
I think I did judge a preliminary or an early on, and they had the Frank Olivier, who was what did he do? He was like a unicyclist or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He did, but he and I gave him a 0. And they said, "Why did you give him a 0?" I said, "Because we're judging comedy acts, not jugglers."
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, "You asked me to judge a comedy act, so I am judging him on his comedic content, of which there was absolutely none. He's a good juggler." Well, am I right?
He should have been in the jugglers competition.
No, but am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, it's not stand-up.
I would have given him a little cup, maybe a point or two. 0 is kind of wow.
Let Bubbles talk here.
Bubs?
You
made a statement, which I agree with.
Bubs?
Well, you're right. He shouldn't have been in it because it's not stand-up. So.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, although The Amazing Jonathan was a comedy act.
He was hilarious,
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
But I remember that those in the 80s, those things got such huge crowds. They were enormous.
Mm-hmm. Well, comedy in general, the Bay Area got a lot of press and a lot of crowds and a lot of coverage. So,
well, I mean,
it ain't like that no more.
In the Bay Area, comedy, when I was associated with it, was almost like rock and roll. It's like you were holding a rock concert.
They had, I remember for the preliminary rounds, they had agents and people coming up from L.A. to scout us, and I remember they got a bunch of us to go over and read for that horrible movie, Howard the Duck.
Oh, God, I remember that. Oh.
Well, let's see.
And who did they put in it? Monty got in. That's how bad the movie was.
Monty and Kravitz. Kravitz got in it, too.
Kravitz got in it, too.
Yeah.
Let's put Monty. Let's put a rapist in the movie. Yeah, it'd be a good idea to have a rapist in the movie. Let's put the rapist, Monty Hoffman, in the movie. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just want to remind people.
Yeah.
And they thought it was going to be a huge hit.
Well, no, here's what happened. I was approached by the producers. They said, we're going to do our final scene at the Warfield Theater because it's a big concert that Howard the Duck is involved in, and we need to get an audience there. So they had me promote on the air that right after the show we were going to go over, and there was good. If you want to be in a movie, come on down. And we managed to fill the place with about 500, 600 people. And I'm very proud of this. I'm sitting there, and they bring out all the people to start doing their scene, right? And then out comes this guy in a duck costume. And I look at one of the producers of the show who I'm dealing with, and I said, that's the duck, right? He says, yeah. I said, but you're going to replace that with animation, right? That's just like a stand-in for the animation. He said, no, that's the duck.
Oh, my God.
And I looked at him and I said, you're in a lot of trouble.
Like some beat Japanese flick from the 60s.
What were you going to say about
something from the 99 cent store? And this was
yeah.
And it was a Lucas production.
Yeah, it was a Lucas production, but the thing was that the concept of Howard the Duck in the comic book was he was a cartoon duck in a real world. Okay,
yeah.
So you should have animated the duck. That's just the way it was written. And no, they didn't. They had a guy in a fucking duck costume, and that tanked the movie. If he had been animated, they would have been 2 years ahead of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Sure, that's right. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Lucas was involved in the animation in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You know, so he knew how to do that kind of thing, and they didn't do it. It was stupid. It was just stupid. And the film came out, and it was, of course, the worst thing that Lucas ever did. He doesn't like to admit he even made it, you know. So, you know, if you had a best of George Lucas DVD set, Howard the Duck would not be on it.
I wish I knew that when I saw him at Robin's wedding. Hey, how's Howard the Duck, George? How come you're not going to release Howard the Duck, George? And we're walking by his table. How's Howard?
What? What were you?
I thought you said you went over to that Lucas place in Marin once, and you were told that no one was supposed to mention Howard the Duck.
That's correct. They said, do not mention Howard the Duck while you're here. No,
there's a picture of him on a sign, and it'll circle and a line through it. Do not mention.
You know, and I was in the commissary, and Lucas was sitting there at the table next to me, and I was going to say, how about that Howard the Duck? You know.
Next thing is the shot of you being bodily thrown out the door. Stay up.
There's a great story about Lucas, though. There's this. He used to hold movies in the basement of the ranch, of the big house on the ranch. It was a beautiful little theater, and but they didn't. A bunch of these guys didn't like the movie, so they said, "Come on, let's go." And they got out, and they were walking by Lucas's office, and they said, "Let's go in there." And they went in, and one of them sat at the desk with his feet up on the desk, and they noticed that Lucas had some cigars. So they broke out the cigars and started smoking them. Somebody walked in, busted their ass. They were all fired from Lucasfilm. And they went out and started a special effects company called, are you ready for this? And you can look for it. It's in some movies. There was this credit. Banned from the Ranch.
Banned from the Ranch. I like that. For Lucasville.
Yeah. So, are there any questions you want to ask Pearl, Bubs? Since you've got him here, you haven't seen him in a long time.
No, I just want to see him again. He's.
There's nothing. What am I going to? Yeah, they book me up there for like $100 gig. Spend money on the rental car and a plane.
I think I'm coming down to Vegas in January, so maybe I'll see you then.
Oh, you don't want to give up that nice apartment. You got it made up there.
No,
Stay
didn't
there.
say he.
Wait a minute. You don't want to come here. Believe me.
Pearl, he didn't say he was moving to Vegas. He said he was coming to Vegas.
I like it here. I'm working here, and I'm working what I want. Well, the holiday season's a little thin, but I got some good shit happening in December, January. And then I'm back on track.
Every night I look on Facebook.
But Bubs will.
I could go. If I was in the guest sets, I could do that. I like to get paid, so I usually just hold out for the paid gigs. But they're there, and there's like a million clubs I haven't played yet. I'm trying to get into. So, but it's great. It's a 24-hour town. I join the gym. I work out at 4 in the morning when I want. It's nicer.
Bubs will be dying in that apartment in San Francisco. with that clamshell.
Well, he should.
With
they
that,
can't raise the rent on him.
with
That's
that,
the landlord.
with that clamshell phone in his hand. You know, trying
in the other room.
trying to call 911, but it couldn't get a signal. You know, I mean,
Because he couldn't find the 11.
A mummified hooker under the bed.
No, God. Like when they found you at Vickers. Oh no.
So, but yeah, but Bubs has been smart. You know, he kind of planted his feet in San Francisco, and in a way that he can never move. Really, I mean, even if he moves,
he can't.
He wouldn't give up that apartment.
Location. He's got
myself here.
What'd you say?
prime gigs. Stay there.
I've literally imprisoned myself here with this rent control.
That's right. Because once you leave, you can't come back. It's like Mulligan's Bar. Yeah? You got to stay there.
You know, we got to.
You're the guy they use. You and Johnny and Mark stay there. The Trinity. Stay there in San Francisco. You'll be fine.
We have to get you an iPhone, Bubs, because then you can be as loud as Pearl is right now. You know,
you can have all the fun you want on one of these. It's a whole system here.
No, there is a difference because iPhones have a really terrific. Not only the signal has nothing to do with it, but the way in which the microphone works and everything in an iPhone is so much better than the old phones that we used to have, like the clamshells.
They take. It's insane. They take pictures as clear as a Nikon. You know, you can make great videos, do everything. You know.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that when they sell those phones now, they don't sell them for the fact that you really get a good signal and you can hear somebody really nicely on the other side of. No, they say, "Oh, it takes great pictures. It's got so many pixels. We got 3 cameras in it."
Yeah, make phone call.
On your phone, do you get text messages?
Oh, I can text, but it just takes a while because I got to hit the button 3 times for each letter.
With Bubbles, it's hieroglyphics. And a bird, sun, eyeball, guy walking. Old-timey hieroglyphics.
This is like
message from Cleopatra. The Queen wants me.
This is like the old days. This feels really, really good. This feels really good. It's like the old days, guys. You know.
It's like the old days.
Yeah. Pearl comes in and
you guys got to come out here and do a reunion show in San Francisco.
Yeah. Nobody would go. All our fans are dead or in the home.
Yeah. I should do it before I die, which could be anytime soon. You know, I get up every morning and I feel the Grim Reaper over my back. You know, going, well, not today, but it's coming soon.
More combined years there than a Rolling Stones concert.
Well, I mean, it really.
Everyone wants Alex to do the reunion show. Molly said we could do it at Cobb's.
Yeah. Well, maybe we just will. You know, I mean,
they want to fly me in and put me up somewhere. I'd be more than happy to do it. Until then, it's just a pipe dream. Talk. I want to say action.
What do you mean? You can't drive? You can't drive from Vegas?
Not my car.
Oh, okay.
My car's like Mr. Magoo's car now, man.
Because I'm
just driving around town. If I break down,
really, what you do is you just
it's a long ass drive.
You just go up to Reno and turn left. You know, and then
there you go. Yeah, go to Reno for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Not my car. I wouldn't trust my car.
Yeah.
You go to the Spawn Ranch.
You would like it. You would like it, Bubs, in Las Vegas because there are lots of hookers. You know.
Oh, they're all over the place. Eh?
Yeah.
I took a girl to Denny's. It cost me $750.
It never rains in Vegas. I'd love that.
There are what?
It never rains there. It's cool.
Oh.
No, I've seen rain since I've been here maybe once, and it snowed a little bit once. So last year, but I like it here.
It does.
I like it here.
I never thought it snowed. Yeah.
And I get to see all my friends pass through town if they're not living here already. It's great, and they use the older comics, which is good. You see a lot of great hair there.
What older comics you don't get to see pass through town? You see pass. So you know.
There you go. That's right.
It's good.
That's right.
Hey, listen, this is a reunion made in some kind of heaven or hell between...
A reunion made in Temecula, yes.
Larry Bubbles Brown and our good friend Stephen Pearl.
Jamming again for the first time since the punchline where we got grossly underpaid.
Yeah. Anyway,
we should have been in Howard the Duck.
And with that, we'll call it.
Monty got a SAG card, I guess.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord.
This has been great, guys. Thank you.
It's been fun. Thank you, my friends. Good to talk to you.
Still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And there is Larry Bubbles Brown and Stephen Pearl together. I haven't had that combination in quite a few years, actually. But, it's okay. Sorry we weren't on last night. A little explanation, I suppose, would be due. But let me first get the Skype lines open, okay? Let me see here. I'm going to open them up here so that people can call me. We had a little problem last night. I'll explain it once I get some people on here. I'll just explain what went on. I mean, it was something that I couldn't continue without fixing, and we fixed it. We didn't. Well, I fixed. Well, I'll tell you the whole story. Once we start getting some callers in here, if I start telling you, well, I can start telling you, but then somebody will call, and last night, I have a. Oh, there we go. There's Phil already. So you say I can't do it yet. Let me see here. Let me go to Phil. Let me get Phil here and Josh is calling. I'll answer the phone there. So first of all, a scuba diver. Okay, there we go. And then let me see here, Josh. Oh, wait a minute. Let's calling. God, slow down. I'm too old for this speed. Let me see here. Then let's see here. We get Josh Wheeler, and that's okay. And then we get Kathleen, which would be, let's see, what would her thing be? Her name is Bobby Q Kazoo. All right, okay. And there we go. There are some of the people on our citizen panel already. This is funny. I can't get you guys. I've got you guys here. Okay, so let me just change this. Okay, to that. All right, we got that. But it's funny on the Skype screen. Strange. So I only get one of you in my frame. So I guess I could just go like this, and we get all those people there. Do you have like 4 people on your Skype screen?
Yes.
I don't. I cannot get 4 people on my Skype screen.
One in the corner.
Huh?
My Skype updated yesterday or last night, so maybe there's a new version.
That wouldn't stop them from being able to use it.
Well, I use an advanced version all the time, so I don't.
Some sort of incompatibility or something, maybe.
I don't know what it is, but if I try and drag them down, it won't drag down.
Early on, you want us just to call back, see if you get another Skype connection?
No, I don't think that's it. I think it's something else. All right. But it doesn't really matter. Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. I need this. Okay, there we go. Now, wait a minute. What happened to my GabNet logo?
Oh yeah, there it is.
Huh?
Oh, there's the Skype and the cabinet thing.
Boy,
Yeah.
This thing is not working right tonight. Skype name. Yeah, it's supposed to be okay. There we go. Skype. Let me see here. Hold on a second. You know something? It's just like this week. Nothing works. It's like I don't know what the fuck happened to me. I should be able to have a GabNet. Let's see here. GabNet. EFG. GabNet. Stationary. No. GabNet icon. Gabnet Composite, Gabnet Composite, Gabnet, Gabnet lineup, Gabnet logo. I'd have no idea where it went. Oh well, doesn't matter. It's supposed to be up in the corner there, isn't it? I don't know. Have these things changed on me? Let me see here. I can't figure this out.
Was there a red Gabnet logo that you used to have on the screen? Because all you got is the yellow Skype address and the phone number.
Skype address and the phone number, yeah. And then I usually had Gabnet above it, right?
Right.
And
yeah,
that's the one I
there.
can't find.
Yeah.
So it's, who knows what happened to it. Let's see, under desktop, Gabnet, name PNG. Okay, so I go browse, and I find Gabnet name PNG, and I'm not going to be able to find it, right? Gabnet name AFG, Gabnet name. See, it doesn't logo. Swirl, Gabnet PNG. No, that's not it. Gabnet name. No, I can't find it anywhere.
Then draw it on a piece of paper and hold it over your head.
Wait a minute. Gabnet name. Okay, let's see where let's see here if it comes up. Gabnet name. Okay, where is it? It's not anywhere. That's strange. That is absolutely ridiculous. It should come up. Okay, but it doesn't. Gabnet name. Hold on a second. Gabnet. Okay. Gabnet name. Here we go. Gabnet name PNG open. Okay, now there we go. Okay, folks. Ta-da! I don't know where it went. It just disappeared. It went somewhere. Last night I had a problem. What happened was my Stream Deck wasn't working. That's the thing I use to switch things, like when I switch back and forth between something like that and something like that. Okay, and it's a nice little thing I have here that makes it all very easy. So I had this last night, and it wasn't working. When I would push it, it would go into like my preview screen here, but it wouldn't do the dissolve like that. See? So I couldn't get it to work. It was like it had been completely screwed, and I couldn't figure out why.
So is this the new one?
So I went off the air because
the bigger one.
What? Yeah.
Is this the bigger one?
Yeah. It just stopped. Last time I used it, it was fine. Just like the last time I used Skype, I could get everybody on the same screen at the same time. I don't know what's changed there. Okay. Anyway, so I called the company that does it. And luckily, I got them at the last minute before they were going to close down their phones. And I started talking with the guy, and we went back and forth about it. And I said, "You've had an update, haven't you?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "I think it's the..." He had me try a whole bunch of things, and nothing would work, okay? And then I said, "I bet it was the update. Do you have anything online where I could go use the last version of it?" And he said, "Sure." And he led me to it, and then I installed it. And it worked just fine. What it turns out is their new software fucks up anything that's a Mac. I did it on my other machine, too.
Is it are you running the new operating system on the Mac? What is it called? Catalina or something?
No.
No, you're not?
No.
Okay, 'cause mine is asking me if I want to update. And I'm saying no, because I don't think a lot of the peripheral equipment I have is set up to run on it.
Who knows about that? I had it on this one machine, and then I backtracked to my old operating system because it wouldn't let me see the hard drives on that machine. It seems that every time they do something they think is better, like an upgrade for this thing, right? But it turns out that the upgrade for the Mac doesn't work, and they don't know that.
They know now.
They know now, and I went back to my other machine to see if I had the same problem, and sure enough, I had the same exact problem with the upgrade. So I hate it. Okay, I just hate it. Period. I hate everything about the technology. And then tonight, I'm only getting one person on my Skype screen. I'm getting the little bubbles of everybody else, but I'm not.
Maybe if you click on the bubbles or drag. Oh, you can't drag the bubbles down. You said.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Oh.
do, and it just doesn't seem to work. I drag Jeff Stein down here, and nothing happens. You know.
What happens if you click on the main picture? If I'm the main picture, just double click on it and see if something happens.
If I double click on there, no.
Nothing, huh?
And I can't get you out of being the main picture.
Well, it's the curse.
Yeah.
Phil
I
Meyer
know
curse.
there's that.
Yeah.
There's
Now,
usually that little tiny icon with the little drop down box that's called screen layout. I think.
what?
You know,
Where's
it might
that?
be.
Where's that? A little.
It's up there. It's usually right to the left of one of the circles.
Oh, call
It's
layout.
a real little
I
tiny. Yeah,
see.
yeah,
All
call
right.
layout.
All right. Grid view. Well, I have it on grid view.
Something maybe's unchecked or whatever. You know,
Oh,
I don't know.
Grid view.
Jeff, it's those two
Speaker
little
view.
TVs in the bottom
And-
right-hand corner.
Grid view. Then
Share your screen.
I do grid view. No, it does. It doesn't change it. What do you What do you have it on? Window or float?
Mine is on grid view and float is also checked.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I've got.
Hmm.
And I'm nowhere near having anything that works here. You
You know,
know.
I could transfer you to my supervisor.
Do they speak English?
Yeah, but this is what
Fuck no.
you see. This is what I hate about. They probably did change something overnight. You know.
Yeah.
Now I have a slightly different version of Skype than the rest of you do because I have a. What do you call it? I'm constantly in the testing stages of a new version
Beta.
of it.
Beta.
Yeah, and maybe that's my problem. You know, I don't
Beta
know.
doesn't work.
I don't know.
That's
So
why
I,
you're a beta
so I
tester.
have to look at Phil all night. I wish one of you would have called first. Like Kathleen, if you had called first, I would have had you up here all night, and I could see see how beautiful you are this evening. You know.
Now you see how beautiful I am this
Let
evening.
me see here. Oh, here comes Rob Alfano. What do you know? Oldie but goodie. Always. Let me see here. Let me go here, and then let me go to 5, and let me go to Rob Alfano. There he goes. Hello to Rob. Hello, Rob. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Wow. This is my first time ever using my iPad for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It looks fine. You know.
Good.
Got a nice, good picture coming through. And, you know, all I'm worried about now is that I'm going to get all those bubbles at the very top, and then they're all going to become one bubble, and it's a mess. But you're right, Josh. That thing should work, okay? But it doesn't. What if I hit window? What will happen? No, that's not it. No, float is what I want. Okay. So, I don't know. I give up. You know. So, but what happened last night is their program automatically installed itself, its new version, and that's what I had between the time I did the show the last time and last night when it was fucked up. So I went back to them and I said to them, I said, you better let your guys know this thing doesn't work on a Mac, you know, your new program. And the trouble is these technology people. Am I right about this? Rob knows a lot about technology people and, you know, the techies, right, Rob?
What about it?
Well, that they don't, if you're doing something creative like I am and using it in the way that I use it, they don't have a sympathetic feeling about that. They don't understand it. And so they build a program and they go, ooh, ah, and they go over in the corner and jerk off. They're so happy, you know? But they don't say, will this work for the guys who have a Mac? You know, will this work for Alex who has to do a show and that he needs this little piece of equipment, you know? No, they probably just may, oh, well, I guess all the things seem to work right, you know, but they don't use it like we use it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's why they should bring people in, you know, who like me, you know, who will just sit there and run the thing until it breaks. But, instead they hand us all this other equipment that, oh, yeah, and this is much better than it used to be. This is the improved version, and it's fucked up. Like tonight, I had to install the Windows 10 OS because there's an upgrade, some massive upgrade or something. And so far it's working, but I'm waiting for it to not work, because they always it's fucked up. Just don't go for Catalina, Phil.
No.
Not until everybody's complained enough about it that they fix every single problem, and that'll be about the time they release the new one, which will be Topanga Canyon or something like that.
I wanted to use my laptop when I was going on the plane, and I have Sierra in it. So I tried to download the American Airlines thing, and it wouldn't download the Sierra. I had to do all sorts of updates, and I haven't put Mojave on it yet, but I'll have to do that. And
I don't know if you can do Mojave now that Mojave isn't there.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if that's possible. Hold on a second. Got to get Kevin in the mix here. Let me see here. He would be Hog Rider. There we go. Okay, because he's a hog riding kind of guy. Hello, Kevin.
Howdy, Alex. Hi, everybody.
Okay, and Jeff is down in Miami or Florida or somewhere down there, right?
Hey, I am in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta. Why did I think you were going to Florida?
I was there. Going back.
You're going back?
Yes.
Oh, so you're coming home now?
No, actually, I went down to Florida.
Yeah.
Dropped off my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
At Pam's sister.
Yeah.
And then now we're over in Atlanta seeing my sister.
Yeah.
For a couple of days, and then we got to go back to Miami because it's Grandma's birthday.
Well, how old is she going to be?
89.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, which is going to be like Sunday, I think, we'll be back.
Well, now there is Kathleen, and Kathleen and I used to date. Is that the best way to put it, Kathleen? Huh?
She's smiling.
Oh, okay. You have to say something, otherwise I don't know you're alive if you're just sitting still. I think you're well, in this world of Skype, I think you're frozen. All right. So anyway, not frozen, but anyway, what I'm saying is, your mother is the same age I am, right?
She's 79. She'll be 80 in February.
Okay, but we're basically the same age. I'm 80,
Yeah.
I'm 79 right now. I will be 80 in December. And so I was dating a woman whose mother was the same age I am.
That's like my wife.
Really?
My wife's mother is a year older than me.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that awkward?
I don't see them very much. They're in the Philippines.
Oh, okay, all right. It never was awkward with your mother, though. I don't remember her having an awkward feeling with your parents about
Not
that.
at all. Nope.
Yeah. But did they mind that their daughter was going out with somebody who was their age?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's different when I dated a girl once who was 19 and I was going to be 30. And her parents hated me.
Really?
Hated me.
Really?
They pulled me aside and said, "What do you want with her?" I said, "Hey, look, I met her. She came up to me, and I don't want anything from her. I just we met, and there's nothing going on here. It's not, I'm not looking to take advantage of her or anything."
Right.
But it was really, they basically, and I told her, I said, "Look, your parents are just not happy that it's a difference when you're 18 and 30 as opposed to 50 and you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. So I mean, what the hell, I just it never bothered me, because I never thought about it in those terms.
Yeah.
Well, you were lucky. You always left before the police arrived.
Yeah. Well,
they'd call them, but it takes a long time for them to show up.
I never went out with a woman whose parents referred to me as sir. Okay? So when that happened, and I also said, what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, didn't I used to say to you, Kathleen, that I will go out with you as long as nobody ever comes up and says, and what will your daughter have?
Yeah.
I said, the day that happens, we're through. You know. I had a girlfriend who I think was actually younger than you in relationship to my age. And occasionally I would get that. Like, and what will your daughter have? And I go, she's not my daughter. I'm fucking her. Okay?
Gee, isn't it?
Huh?
That would have sat well with that girl's parents.
Well, no, her parents hated me. I think her mother hated me because I was Jewish.
Terrible.
Her mother was Greek, and Greeks traditionally hate Jews. I don't know why. What did we ever do to the Greeks? You know,
They hate everybody.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, I don't know about you guys. I didn't watch much of the impeachment hearings today. You know, I know that Rob didn't because Rob's avoiding this altogether, right?
I was traveling today. I'm in Orlando.
Yeah. Oh wow! Here comes Tony. So now I got to add Tony to the group. Hold on a second. Can I get Tony on here? I don't think. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There's Tony, and I got to get to my my other thing. Okay, here we go. There we are. There's Tony. Okay. Hey, Tony, how are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just watching some. Is Rob there?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Rob, what do you think of the Astros with the stealing? I was just watching Alex. They were stealing the Astros, the Houston Astros. I watched a bunch of clips on YouTube, and you hear them stealing the signs with the sound.
Yeah.
It's so obvious when you look at it now.
What's this?
Listen to this, Alex. The Houston Astros, right? The
Yeah.
baseball team
Yeah, I
in
know.
2017.
I know.
And probably till now. They set a camera up, I think, in center field, and it must have closed in on the catcher when he puts his fingers down so they can see what the next pitch is going to be. And let's say it was fastball. Then they would zoom in on it, and then they would play like they would bang a drum once, and that means it would tell the hitter, you're getting a fastball.
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So really, they were snoggling this whole thing. I mean, they were really.
I just
Straight
watched
up
it.
cheating.
It's
Not this year, supposedly.
17.
Only when they needed it.
And whatchamacallit, Rob, I looked at the Yankees when they played them those 3 games.
Yeah.
Remember the Yankees had to learn how to win on the road? They lost 2-1. They lost 1-run games.
You never know how it affected. How it
We
affected.
lost 2-1 in the 7th game. They were stealing
Well,
our
wait a minute. Now
singles.
hold on a second. So somebody just figured out how to do this a couple of years ago.
Oh, you know what it was, Alex? An old employee got fired, and I think he I don't know if he got pressured, but he gave them up.
Yeah.
Are they going to get fined?
I don't know. It's so obvious when you look at this, Alex. I'll send you the clip. Did you see when the ball went in the dirt? That was an off-speed pitch.
Where?
And then
Wait a minute. Where was the camera?
Center field.
Center field. Alex, what kind of camera?
But it wasn't in center field, was it?
Yeah, the camera was in center field, and it was trained in on the catcher's.
His fingers.
The catcher's legs, where he gives the signs.
Right.
And there had a closed circuit camera right in the tunnel next to the dugout with a monitor. And anytime it was an off-speed pitch, they would bang on something.
They'd bang a drum.
So in other words, they were shooting from the dugout to between his legs or whatever.
Yeah.
A center field camera shooting directly into the catcher, and that camera had a little closed circuit monitor that was in the dugout in the tunnel.
I see. And they banged a drum?
They banged the drum, and that was the sign for the guy in the batter's box.
You know what this reminds me of? This is a great story. It's very similar to something else. In England, there was a big scandal about somebody who cheated his way to $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. and I can't remember how they did it exactly, but somehow there was some guy was able to communicate with somebody in the audience, and there are only 4 answers there, and so it was a question of all of a sudden they'd hear somebody cough in the audience.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was he's like coughed twice if it was number 2.
Yep.
Or coughed 4 times if it was number 4. And and that's how he won $1 million. And they could never figure out how he cheated, except they then went.
A guy back in the 70s. Remember the game show, the Whammies?
Oh yeah, I used to watch me. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom watched that.
With the board that went around, and you would stop.
Yeah.
A guy figured out. He stared at his TV and he figured out the patterns, and he knew how to beat the system.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Wow. Well, anyway, so the Astros. What are they going to do about the Astros? What are they going to do about all the games?
What do they do with these guys? I mean, you're talking a lot of money here because now these games can be legally bet.
Well,
MLB is doing an investigation right now, and they'll have to make a determination. But I mean, with the silly fines they give out today, think about the amount of money the Astros made by winning the World Championship.
Yeah, that's a couple of years old. Yeah.
So when you think about that, you have to really hit them where it hurts, or it doesn't matter. They'll keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever
Ban them for a year.
ban them for the playoffs?
Wait a minute. Kathleen, what were you saying?
I said ban them for a year.
Yeah, well, I mean, more than that. I mean,
it's become permissible to cheat in today's society.
It's like Spygate all over.
Aren't the players complicit in this because they have to know what the drum means?
Can you imagine if you were a baseball player? I would not go along with this.
Well, here's what happened. The team.
I want to get in the Hall of Fame.
Players move like crazy today, right? What happened is this guy Mike Fryer, is that his name? He's on another team now.
Mike Fyers is with the A's, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And his team was going to play Houston. And this guy figured, you know what? I'm going to tell my teammates. Well, one guy tells another guy, tells another guy, and that's how it gets out. Look, I'm no longer with that team, and I want my team to win. So he told them, you got to watch out because these guys have a camera in center field.
Yeah, he brought it up. Yeah.
That's how it came out.
Well, but all I'm saying is the players had to be complicit because they had to know what the drum meant.
They off at that plate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to steal singles if you're looking at with your eyes, but if you're setting up a camera and having a whole thing, I mean, come on, this is a little much.
Now, could they only do this on home games? Because
because they can't do it at Yankee Stadium because how they got to put the camera?
Yeah. Wow.
The Dodgers are fucking pissed. They lost 7-2 to them.
Pete Rose got banned from baseball for life for just betting on his team.
And he had an illness. He was a gambler.
Yeah. And by the way, in all honesty with Pete Rose never bet on his team to lose.
Right.
He bet on them to win.
Right.
So he wasn't betting against the team. So he really wasn't doing anything terrible. He was just betting. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're riding his ass to this day. And you think about all the steroids and everything else that's been going on, and they let those guys go, and they're still riding Pete Rose's ass.
Yeah. Right. Josh, you're a sports guy. What do you think of all of this?
I mean, I see the Astros got caught, so I mean, I don't have a problem with taking signs if you can come by it naturally. Mm-hmm. I mean,
that's part of the game.
Sign stealing in baseball has been pretty big as far as like deciphering, that monkey dancing that the third base coach does for years, and teams will literally pay a guy to sit there or watch film of nothing but that and try to figure out when they put a certain play on or whatever. And I don't really have a problem with that. That's almost like, human intelligence.
Part of the game, but you're supposed to be able to switch it up and then throw them off.
The camera deal, that's a little bit over the top. Yeah. And I mean, the only two problems I have about is the guy that runs the Astros, they have quite a bit of problems down there right now. They had the problem with the female reporter a couple weeks ago.
Right.
They have this. They've been accused of this before. And, I mean, all I ever heard when Jeff Luhnow went down there to run he worked for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are just so great, and everybody who works for the Cardinals has just been ordained by Jesus Christ himself, and they're just such class act people. And it's like, yeah, the fucking Cardinals and all their disciples are just clean as fucking white sheets, aren't they? Yeah, I mean, that shit was probably going on where he came from. It's probably where he got the fucking idea for it. Yep. So, I mean, I don't think they'll, if they're serious about it, they'll take something from them that is important. Finding the money isn't really going to change it. So probably what you'll see is a pretty on their international signing money that they're allowed to have, so they won't be able to play in like the international free agent market for like Japanese players or Cuban players.
Yeah.
And then if they were really serious, they'll take draft picks.
Right.
And if they're really, really serious, they'll take like a first round draft. Like they won't have a draft pick this June or something like that in the first round. That's probably what you'll see.
Happen. If it's true, that's what should happen.
Yeah.
And that's probably what you'll get. And I honestly don't know how much longer after all this Jeff Luhnow can hold on down there. I mean, if they were smart, I think the Crane family still owns him. They would just say, he's had all these problems lately, and now we're in this mess. We got our 2 World Series out of this guy. Our roster's in good shape. Well, here's $8.5 million. Why don't you go suck a dick? It's probably how it'll go, but maybe he might survive. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then on the Pete thing, good Lord, I'm from Cincinnati, so let me tell you, I've heard Pete roast since I was, a little kid. Yeah, Pete's a terrible human being. He really is. Pete's a fucking piece of shit. But did he deserve what he got? No. But that doesn't have anything to do with, like they were saying. I don't know. MLB seems to have had some kind of vendetta against him. They really have for decades.
I think it's a change in society that he got caught in a time when it was bad to cheat. Today, cheating is, it's okay. Our society's become
but why is cheating okay? Yes, Jeff.
Well, we got to remember that gambling used to be totally illegal, except for what? Las Vegas.
Right. Yeah, or your local bookie. Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. It's a sad state when I'm going to tell you something. It's a slippery slope when you can legalize sports betting in Jersey now. Because you know what? Whenever you start bringing gambling into the effect, even as DraftKings, when you're watching the football games, Alex, DraftKings robs is right across the commercial breaks. I'm saying to myself, look at this. You don't think they're going to start throwing games soon with the referees?
Well, look at the NHL. The NHL is.
There used to be certain kind of advertising that was not allowed on broadcasting. Alcohol was one of them. Was there one other, Rob, that I'm not remembering? Cigarettes. And then, cigarettes did get advertised for years, and then we banned cigarettes.
Yeah.
I think gambling should be banned from being on these football and baseball games.
It really should.
Because all it does is it encourages people to abuse it.
Well, you know what they know, Alex? The only way these guys are going to watch the Gonzaga game tonight is if they got money on the game. And they know that ESPN brings the ratings in, so let's just run it up.
Well, I saw something on the air the other day where they were talking about some game or something, and the guy says, "How do you feel about it?" The reporter, and the guy who was answering the question, who was a fan, said, "As long as they win by 3."
There you go.
And I'm thinking the only.
Look, if not, he's not
even
this week.
Kevin.
Look at now. They got the Vegas Knights in hockey, and they're going to have the Vegas Raiders. There was never a sports team in Vegas. Now there's going to be 2, and then more.
That's bad.
Is it baseball?
The hockey's
in
there.
Vegas?
Yeah. Did you want to say something?
I don't know, but probably.
Phil, did you want to say something?
There's probably a semi-pro down there.
I don't really. I think I like baseball less than Alex likes sports, but I just want to know one thing. Tony, are you still playing my 3 numbers? and did I win?
Well, give it to me. I'll play it for you. What'd you
275.
Let me write this down.
My police ID.
What is that? The numbers? The numbers? You're playing the numbers?
Yeah, he puts a buck. He does it for his mother, so he plays for me too.
And who? Where does he?
Yeah, with a real bookie, a bag man.
It's the pick 3. I'll play it for you. I promise. I'll show it to you.
Pick 3. I thought you were going to a store and you were talking to some guy in a candy store.
Yeah,
playing my
It's
numbers.
right up the block for me.
Yeah,
but I don't go to him anymore because he sold the store. So now I go to the bakery for it.
Oh, okay.
The guy in the
bakery's good.
Machine. So I have my donut and I sit in the back and talk.
Now, how do they figure out the numbers for that day? It used to be like
it's attendance, I think.
I play the night ones for me and my mother. They have it midday now and night, but I only go night.
I think it's the published attendance.
275. Yeah.
And it's the last 3 numbers of the attendance or something.
Yeah, and then how much do you win if you're right?
You never win.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's why I'm playing with Tony's money.
If they only have 3 numbers,
yeah,
there's one chance in 1,000 that you'll be a winner, right?
I won $40 in 6 months.
Yeah,
but that's playing $1 a day. I'm a loser.
So tell Alex what the deal is. I thought it used to be the attendance, but
I don't know how they do it. You said that to me. I never understood how they. I just thought they just pull it out.
There's no pulling out.
Thing. Oh no, it's on TV at night.
There's no pulling out.
What kind of on TV at night? I thought you were playing with a bookie.
Yolanda Vega comes in. They do it like between Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune.
No,
my mother will watch it. The numbers on. I don't care.
I thought it was some Italian guy with a paper bag, and you put the slip in. You give him the $1.
Yeah, Louis down there at the bakery. Louis.
Yeah.
Give the money to the wife in the brown envelope.
Yeah. Carlo at the bakery.
This is for Phil. He lost again. Where's my money? I don't know. He lives 3,000 miles away. Don't tell me.
Break your legs.
Yeah, you don't know who the winner is. He could just take your money and you could have won $1,000 and he's walking away with it.
I'm sure the numbers, you could find them in the newspaper.
Could find it out.
I don't trust him because to begin with, his name is Tony. All right?
That's true. That's
it again. Yeah.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
I never placed an illegal bet in my life.
Are you Italian, Tony?
I am, but I'm American. I'm not a guinea, Alex. I don't speak. I used to tell that to my friends.
You have many guns.
No, I'm an American. I'm not hanging swords.
Yeah, Magno would be Italian, right?
Yeah. My
could be Greek.
It was also the name of a screening room in New York. They had the Magno screening room. Yeah.
Oh shit! I wonder if it's family.
Do you remember the Magno screening room, Rob?
What's that?
Do you remember the Magno screening room? It's where they used to screen a lot of the films.
My grandmother worked for doing dresses for the plays. I know that, but that was like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
50 years ago, probably.
So anyway, let me see here. So enough with betting, enough of sports. I'm surprised about that whole story. So did anybody here watch the proceedings today?
Little bit when I was eating lunch.
I watched in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I listened a little on the radio, but the funny thing about these kinds of hearings, you ever see on Facebook where you see this thing that says, is this dress gray or is it blue? And it's like some people see it one way, other people see it the other way. And that's exactly what's going on.
I don't think that's exactly. I don't think. I would disagree with you.
That's not the real situation.
That's because you see it as gray and I see it as blue.
No, you know what it is? It's more important today to be right than it is to do the right thing.
That's true.
Yeah. That's what the big thing is. It's more important to be right, and everybody needs.
Even
to
if
be
you're not right, you're right. Everybody's claiming the right position.
Did you see it, Kathleen, or were you just petting your pussy at the time?
I saw a little bit at work during lunch.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there something wrong with me? I was bored by it.
Yeah, I didn't make heads or tails of it. I saw that guy talking with the glasses. I didn't know what he was like going in circles.
Guy with the glasses? What guy? They're all got glasses.
From the distillation that I've seen, and I watched Fox for the distillation, oddly enough, I think probably our president is guilty as sin. But that doesn't matter. I mean, I just think this whole thing it's all process, and process bores me. Get down to the nitty gritty. Hold the fucking vote, impeach the motherfucker.
Yeah, can't they just take it right to the vote already?
Yeah.
Let's just get right to the climax. Let's not beat around the
Do
fucking
we have
bush.
to do this death by
Cares
1,000
if it's
cuts?
real.
Is it going to last a long time? Like another? How many
I
days?
think didn't they say that they probably will have the
Because my mother was mad. No Price is Right today. Because of this.
she won't be getting it for a while.
She says, "Turn the channel." I says, "Ma, it's on every network."
It's on every network.
Is
Out of a
Chuck
game show.
Willery the one that just got is no longer going to do the Price is Right or whatever it is because of his conservative leanings?
What?
I think it's Chuck Willery.
Chuck Woolery maybe, but he's not on The Price is Right. The Price is Right.
I don't watch The Price is Right.
The Price is Right is Carey, Drew Carey.
Yeah,
Drew Carey.
Yeah.
Well, but I think Chuck Willery.
Woolery.
Woolery
Woolery?
is an old man. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's an old man, but he's saying that he can't. He's not getting any work, and he got fired or something.
That's the reason
from
why he's
where he
not
was.
getting any work, because he's old hat. You know, he's the parade
no,
is. It's like me.
People
The
are going
parade
after
is.
him and saying, "Don't buy the products that they advertise," because
But he
he's
hasn't got a
he's
fucking show.
conservative.
He hasn't got a show.
Well, not anymore because he got pushed out.
He's been out for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been.
Well, I don't know. I saw him this morning on the news. He was talking about.
Well, he's probably
been out for a while.
He hasn't worked for a while, and I don't think that's the reason why.
That's what he said.
You know, I think the reason why is the parade has passed him by, much like it has with me. But I don't sit around saying nobody's hiring me because I'm a left winger.
You know, I don't want to change the subject, but your
But they got
interview
they
with
got-
Stephen Pearl and
Yeah.
Larry Brown was excellent. It reminded me of your old days, not Camel, but on Live 105. It was very good.
Yeah.
And
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. So anyway, so where was I? So I think that let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. And I think that once it plays itself out, I think he's going to look a lot worse than he even looks right now. So but what did you say, Rob?
I don't think it matters what he looks like. He's going to get away with all of it.
Really?
Yes, because
They can't get him on up, and
Republicans
he's
are in
like,
charge of the Senate. It doesn't matter. No
I
matter
think they're
what
pushing
he
it all
did,
to
they're
Sondland.
going to vote against him.
You're they're pushing all what to Sondland?
I think they're pushing it all towards Sondland next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Trump's the new Teflon Don.
Those two guys today were pretty good. They were well spoken today, but it was all the same shit. They just pretty much repeated the same shit all day long, except that one hearsay thing that the ambassador came up with another conversation that happened, but it's all the same stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that these guys had a pretty good reputation. I mean, they had
a good reputation, and they spoke well. They didn't get tripped up at all.
And the one guy pointed out, he said, "I've been under 5 different administrations, 3 of which were Republican and 2 of which were Democrat." He says,
"Yeah, that's what they accused him of being a no Trumper,
never Trumper."
Yeah, and then they said they asked them, "Are you no Trumpers?" And they said, "No." No, we don't know which way they were. Actually, they may have been for Trump until this thing happened.
Yeah.
So
he worked for 3 Republicans, so
yeah. So I mean, it was a it's just I'm wondering how to begin with. I want to know why we have so much coverage. You couldn't go anywhere on the dial and not see the hearings. I mean,
exactly.
Are you going to watch NBC, but you're not going to watch MSNBC? Why does it have to be on both?
The only reason you do that for is the after shit.
I mean, let's face it. Days of Our Lives only has about 6 months left.
I know.
Yeah, they suspended that today, right?
Well, there's something going on there. They fired.
They said they suspended it.
No, they fired everybody.
Wow.
The whole crew, everybody.
Wow.
Days of Our Lives?
Yeah.
God. Man, my life is over.
I used to watch that every day.
I watched
Come
Dark
on, when I was in
Shadows.
San
Me too,
Francisco,
long
that was
time
my
ago.
I
go-to
used to
show.
watch Dark
I
Shadows.
watch it on. I'm watching it on Amazon from the beginning.
I used to watch it when it first came out.
It's pretty good, actually.
What?
Shadows is on Amazon.
Barnabas.
Yeah.
Oh, Dark Shadows. That show sucked.
You check these.
Oh, I like that show.
Huh?
I'm
To a
watching it before the
12-year-old.
vampire
Love Dark
game
Shadows.
right now. I'm on season
Yeah,
3.
Days of Our Lives I watched, but they have fired everybody on the show. The show, however, has 6 months of shows in the can.
Holy shit, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Which one had Susan Lucci?
Well, that was
All My Children.
All My Children. That's gone.
I had a crush on Susan Lucci.
That's gone.
What's left? General Hospital.
General Hospital
Nice.
and the one on CBS. I can't remember the name of it now. Do you know it, Kathleen? Kathleen's
What?
never been a big soap opera person, have you?
Actually, it's funny. My mom and I were talking. I was telling her, so my senior year, my mom was working as a nurse. So during the summer, I'd watch all the soap operas for her. And then when she'd come home, we'd sit out on the porch and I'd give her the abridged version of all the bullshit that was going on.
I watch it with
One Life to Live, General Hospital. God, I can't think of the other one. With Victor Newman and Nikki.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, the Young and the Restless is the
Yes.
one, the other one that's on.
Oh, right.
Me and my mother used to watch General Hospital. I just came home from school one time. She was crying because one of the characters died. I thought it was a family.
Hilarious.
She's watching the TV with Kleenex. I said, "Mom, can I watch my show before?" She had to tell me everything. I used to tape it.
Yeah, well,
You only had one TV?
Shit, it was hanging a cliffhanger.
What kind of house is this? You only had one TV?
Well, we had the big one in the living room. We weren't rolling in dough. We had the.
I had a black and white 13-incher in my room.
So did I. I used to watch Benny Hill on that damn thing.
It was an RCA. I remember it, and it was red. The case was red.
I remember
Mine
we
was
got the
white.
VCR. I went
But
crazy.
anyway, so Days of Our Lives. You ready for this? Hold on to your seats, everybody. How many years do you think it's been on?
Oh,
40.
that's good.
45.
More.
45. It just celebrated its 45th anniversary.
That's crazy. GH has been on longer. General Hospital's been around since
No, it
1953.
no, it hasn't. No,
GH has been
no.
around. Mother used to watch the black and white one.
I know,
Like,
but so Days of Our Lives was black and white. Days of Our Lives predates GH, I believe.
Really?
Yes, yes. And then you got The Young and the Restless. I don't know how long that's been on. And I'm trying to think.
You ever see The Fat and the Bald?
Huh?
Oh, wait a minute.
It's a real sexist comment, Forbin Colossus. He writes, Kathleen had a black 13-incher.
Mine was white. I didn't say it was black.
Alex.
And
Yeah.
Phil's was red.
Yeah, right. Anyway, what,
I
Rob?
got a comment, but I'm going to hold off.
GH was on, General Hospital was on like 63, 73, 83, 93, 03, 13. That's 50 plus years it's been on, GH.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
I know
Is
it's
As
been
the
on
World
since
Turns still on, or did they end that?
Was
It's no longer turning.
GH on
As the
longer
stomach turns.
than Days of Our Lives? Our lives.
The sands of the hourglass.
Oh yeah,
So,
ding.
who are the
Used to like
days
the
of-
music.
So
Yeah.
are the days of our lives.
You know what the peanut butter
Remember
sandwich
the
I eat?
themes?
Isn't Victor
Okay.
Konalakis or whatever his name is? Isn't that Jennifer Aniston's dad?
The Jennifer, John Aniston.
Yeah.
Victor Kiriakis.
That's right. Yeah.
See, I know this shit. Okay, wait a minute.
My
Hold on
wife
a
just
second.
told me that tonight.
General Hospital, original network ABC. It went on in, I guess, 1963.
Yes, 63.
63. Okay, now let me go
That's
back to
50,
days.
what,
Let me
55 years?
Let me go back to Days of Our
years?
Lives.
Was John Aniston?
Aniston.
Yeah, was he the one in what was
you're-
the name of Adam's
you're,
Family?
You're right. 65 was Days of Our Lives.
The GH is the
No, that was
longest
John
one.
Aston.
Oh, Aston. Okay.
Yeah. So you're right. Days of Our Lives is not as old as General Hospital. So
My friend used to work on The Doctors in Brooklyn. It's at NBC. He used to work on that show.
I heard there was a great story. There was a show on radio in the early days with soap operas. All the soap operas had been radio shows, and then they put them on television. Guiding Light, for instance, was a radio show. And there was one called Young Dr. Malone. And so they decided to make a TV show out of it, a soap opera, daily soap opera. And they put it on, and one day they decided to cancel the show. And so you know what they did on their last episode to make sure they could never bring it back? The entire cast, all the characters, went on a bus ride, and it went over a cliff.
Yeah.
They bring them back anyway. Doesn't matter if they die. They come back.
Over a cliff, that's all.
They said, that's it. We're going to make sure this show doesn't come back.
And that's
Is Dr. Kildare still on?
Wow.
I can't remember. There was this woman I knew, Jada Rowland. She had been on one soap opera. She was very well known, too. And I'm trying to remember what soap opera it was. But she was telling me the story, because she used to go with Paul Krasner. And in fact, that was the date that Paul Krasner had that he had to get back to New York for and couldn't stay at Woodstock, so he came back with me. And Jada told me the story about on that show how there was a guy who was a main character on the show, right? And the scene is a plane ride, all right? They're on a plane and they're talking whatever happens, and then he went up on his lines. Now, these were the days of live television. And if you went going up on your lines means,
what does that mean?
You can't remember them. You've memorized them, but somehow you then have a block. Well, if you're a stage actor, what you do in that case is you simply excuse yourself to walk off the wings, and then you get your next line, and once you've got the line, you're good to go, and then you come back and you do the line, and everybody's happy. Well, this guy was a stage actor, and he's sitting there doing his part on the plane, and all of a sudden he goes up on his lines, and he says, "One moment," and he gets up, and he walks out the door of the plane. And the director says to everybody, "Quick, go to commercial." And they go to commercial, and while they're in commercial, she says over the loudspeaker, the director is saying to the woman still there, "When we come back, you're going to cry like you've never cried before." And they wrote him completely out of the show. They said he walked out of the plane and killed himself.
Oh, wow.
So that was one way to lose a job, so. But they don't do those shows live anymore, so. In fact, I think what they do is if there's a particular scene, you know how they go back and forth between scenes? I think they do them all in one chunk, and then they do the next scene chunk in chunks, and they don't do them in order. Okay. So.
Yeah, so they don't have to relight and move the cameras and do all that.
And they don't have to change costumes and have the actors. And that's how Days of Our Lives, for instance, can be 6 months ahead. Most of the others are pretty much not day and date, but close to it. But Days of Our Lives was always known to be 6 months ahead of time because it was cheaper to do it that way. So anyway, so no timely references to like the impeachment hearings. So anyway, boy, we haven't had a good impeachment hearing since Clinton.
And
Happy days are here again. Da, 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 da. What kind of okay? Let's do some odds making here. I'll start with Josh because he's good at odds making. Chances for impeachment. What are the odds?
Oh, I think he gets impeached.
Okay, so it's what? What would the odds be on it?
I mean, the House will vote to impeach him. I'm 100%.
Yeah. What do you think about the Senate?
I mean, I think removal's up in the air. I don't think it's quite as in doubt as some people think. I mean, I don't know if it'll happen, but I think there are a lot of Republican senators that behind the scenes really can't stand him.
I think you're right, but I don't.
And if the polling moves just enough,
if the polling, somebody said that I heard that if the polling goes below 50% for impeachment, okay, or over 50% for impeachment, the Republicans are going to start jumping ship.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't. I can't say that they exactly like the guy. Right. You know, but
I think there are some who definitely, and I would say more than some, who definitely do not.
Yeah.
I mean, there are more than a handful who definitely can't stand.
But they're not willing to gamble their political futures by going against him at this point.
Not quite yet.
Yeah. What do you think, Phil?
Well, we know that one Republican doesn't like him. What's his name from Utah? What's his name? He ran for president.
Yeah.
Romney.
Romney.
By the way, that's Kathleen. She's almost the youngest one here. She's still got all her brain cells left. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a feeling that if it actually comes to a vote in the House, that there are 31 congressional seats that were in Trump districts that Trump won big. And I got a feeling if they're going to represent their constituents, they may not vote for it. So there's a chance, even though they're going through this dog and pony show, that when it comes time to actually sit down and vote for impeachment, it's questionable. I don't believe that. I think they need 19 senators in the Senate to vote for impeachment in order to remove, to convict. So I don't see that happening.
What happens if they do vote? What happens to the Republican? He can't run for president again. What happens?
Technically, he can run for president, unless the Senate expels him from eligibility for office, which would only take a majority of 51.
So in other words, they could wait a minute. They could impeach him. He can be thrown out of office by the Senate, and then he could still run for president again.
I doubt he would. If they threw him out, I doubt he'd run again.
Yeah, I mean, constitutionally, yes, but like I said, but the Senate has the power to bar him from holding public office again by a separate piece of legislation, and that particular piece only requires a simple majority, so it would only take 51 votes. So, I mean,
to see the scrambling that goes on behind the scenes for who the Republicans put up against the Democrats.
I think they put up Nikki Haley.
Really?
Yeah. Matter of fact, she's even talking about a possible run.
What, for head cunt?
No. She's pretty good, and she did a good thing in South Carolina when she took down the Confederate flag off the State House after the church shooting.
Knock it off.
Yeah. Well. By the way, did you hear, Bob? Did you hear?
Twice a day.
Did you hear that? They have this. I can't remember her name now. This again, another cunt. This woman that was in the hearings today. She's young. She's a millennial.
Yeah.
And somebody wrote that's what happens when you get yourself a female millennial. You know, they turn out like that. And he's now being given, it was like a commentator, not at CNN, or I can't remember where he was a commentator for, who got a lot of heat for that, saying it was a sexist comment to make. But what's her name? Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, she was really snarky today. I didn't like her.
Oh, wait, not OAC.
No, not OAC. No, this wasn't a Democrat. This was a Republican.
Congresswoman?
Yeah, from New York.
New York, or I don't know. They've got that one. What's her name? Stefanik, I think.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's another person that at one time, Nicole Wallace had a spat with her today. Basically saying that at one time you were a, fairly decent Republican, and then you woke up one morning and decided to tie yourself to Trump, regardless of his policies, and they had a bit of a little.
Well, Nicole Wallace used to be a Republican, or was a Republican.
Well, she still is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Josh, what's a fairly decent Republican? One that leans blue?
Well, you'd have to ask Nicole Wallace. I mean, she's the one who made the statement. I mean, I think that her point was she used to be a Republican, and she's not really, like Alex said, that old. But when she first came around, like many other Republicans in the past, 7 or 8 years ago, Republicans were the ones screaming that the legislative branch needed to get their power back and that the executive was a runaway train. And fast forward to the present day, and now they're like, they seem to have basically forgotten all
See,
that.
I think Phil. I think Phil, what he's saying, and it bears thinking about, and that is that I think that if you're considering Donald Trump to be a Republican, you're probably misled. He is a Republican. He's a rhino. He ran as
Bloomberg.
Wait a minute, because he saw it as being a Republican, that there was an opportunity there for him to run for president. But that I think that any real Republican, any real conservative, can't be happy with Donald Trump.
Donald Trump said what he was going to do.
No, that has nothing. That has nothing to do with it. We all vote for people who say they're going to do things, and we know they never will. Well, this guy did, no matter how insane some of the things were. Yes, Jeff.
We were having a discussion as to why is it that all of these Republicans are supporting the president.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how crazy, stupid things he says.
You know why?
Wait, Phil. Okay. This is not your turn. Take a break.
I've been
he's been very good. As a matter of fact, I asked him to kind of calm down a little bit, and the other night he said, was I okay?" And I wrote him back and I said, "Yes, you were." And he said, "Well, and to quote Donald Trump, it was a very good call."
It was a perfect call.
It was a perfect call.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jeff.
Anyway.
Thank you, Phil. I'll say it that way. Well, here's what my friend said. Because everybody says, how can these Republicans be like that so often, so continuous? And somebody says, well, don't you think that a lot of them got paid?
Mm-hmm.
From who?
Question.
By who?
Well, I don't know if they got paid, but they expect to be paid for the job that they do, that they're going to continue to be able to do, because if they back Trump, they'll be able to do it. That's probably the thinking behind it.
Well, I think there might be a theory that they think they will quasi get paid in the terms of if they tie themselves to him unconditionally in the way that Jim Jordan does, or some other people.
McCarthy.
He has the power to get PAC money to flow their way when it comes time to run for re-election.
Didn't they just find out some shit about Jim Jordan? Didn't something just come out on him?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm from, I live 25-minute drive from the campus of Ohio State, and he used to work up there.
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm pretty familiar with him. I mean, there have been a lot of allegations since the time he was in Congress, and they're only getting worse, that there was a male, I don't know if it was a trainer or an assistant coach or somebody that, basically sexually abused or harassed male wrestlers and other athletes at the time that Jim Jordan was an assistant wrestling coach at Ohio State, and they reported it to him, on numerous occasions, and each time, he basically didn't do anything about it. And in some cases, he just at least these are the reports, in some or the allegations, and in some cases, not only did he not do anything about it, but he just basically just laughed it off and said, up. That's just how the guy is, and some of the things, were like sexual abuse or walking into the shower and, masturbating in front of him. I mean, just crazy.
Aggressively
shit.
washed himself.
Yeah. By the way, Matt Crash just wrote, Kathleen is the best panelist, hands down. I thought you'd like to hear that, Kathleen.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Basically, I guess because he likes long-haired blonde women, How long is your hair now? That looks longer than when I knew you.
No, it's not as long as when you knew me.
Yeah.
But it's almost as long, but not quite.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it's just. I don't know. Marjorie was writing me things like, "Oh, you should be watching this. You should be watching this." And I turn it on and I go, "I got better things to do. I think I have some porn around here, don't I? You know, I mean, it was just, I don't know. Just let me know when you go for the money shot, okay?"
Right.
And when you're ready for the money shot, I'll be happy to watch it, and I'll be happy to be really interested in it. But while you're still tap dancing around the whole thing, I just, I'm not all that interested. Kevin, did you find yourself watching it?
I was watching it because I had nothing else to do but charge a battery for my motorcycle.
Is it like it used to be where it felt like two different hearings when the Democrats asked the question versus when the Republicans were asking questions? Is it like?
Yes, it did. It was exactly like that.
Yeah, so it's like two different hearings.
Yeah, well,
and it was, it was the same old shit,
Well, the trouble is that it used to be that when you had a hearing like that, sometimes you would get a Republican or a Democrat who didn't go along with the herd.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I look for is I wanted something like that to happen, but it didn't.
I mean, I would like a Democrat who doesn't go along with the herd just as much as I would like to see a Republican who doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
But this herd mentality that they both have now is ridiculous. And then I get insane watching MSNBC.
Yeah,
because
and I was watching Fox like you were.
I was watching Fox because at least you had that guy. What's his name? The Hispanic guy. What?
Was it Cavuto?
No, the Hispanic guy.
Ramos?
No.
Geraldo Rivera?
No.
Oh, I like Rivera.
Who you know who I'm talking about? The guy
not
who got
Baird.
the guy who got fired from PBS years ago, and is now over there. Well, he was hosting a show, and he's their only liberal there. And he was on with a whole panel who were like skewing it one way, but at least he was skewing it his way. And I found it interesting to watch because I love to hear this this world that these people live in. Okay,
Yeah, that's what I do. Is I like to hear the other side because you know what MSNBC is going to be doing.
Well, of course, and I'm tired of being pandered to. I'm tired of getting my dick sucked by a television anchor.
Exactly.
And so I really like what I see at when I go over to Fox because it's like I'm going to Bizarro World.
Yeah, it's almost like S&M, isn't it?
It's almost like
being tied up on the bed.
Yeah, I mean, Phil, do you ever go over to MSNBC?
No.
Well,
you should try it. It's fun.
It's like all Trump, all day, all the time, and it's like it's the same story. He did this, he did that. Oh my God! At least with Fox, they talk about shit. It's
all
like
Trump all day.
Yeah.
Well, it's all Trump all day, Phil. It's just it's the exact opposite, polar opposite of MSNBC.
It is.
Not really. There's other stuff. I mean,
like
they
what?
have people they interview with MSNBC. Isn't it the same pundits all the time? The Joe Scarboroughs and it's the same ones.
Well, the trouble is I find at MSNBC is they report very little other news than all Trump all the time. Am I right. Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they do go to something else, it's because, I don't know, there was a murder, there was a shooting in a school somewhere, and then they go gin that up for about an hour and a half.
And it's Trump's fault.
No. Only
MSNBC?
not only some of the time. Only some of the time.
It's always Trump's fault.
Well, I think synagogue shootings are Trump's fault.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Parking tickets are Trump's fault.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one the other day.
Well, I'm glad you're finally coming over to our side, Phil.
Yes,
There you
This
go.
is how it's reported on MSNBC.
There you go. See, you're coming around.
Yeah, you see.
Oh, no. It's just an observation.
Oh.
Hey, look, this is my son's pencil.
That's
What?
Trump's fault.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
If Trump wasn't in office, he'd have a real pencil supplied by the government.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Dozen of them.
Talk a little bit so we can see your screen there, Kathleen.
Okay, this is my son's pencil he's using.
What?
It makes a golf pencil look huge.
Trump's fault.
See, Trump's
Trump's fault.
Yep.
You know.
It's his fault.
You know what? I had a tax guy that used to do that. He'd run his pencils down to about this long, and every year, I'd go to him and he'd always have that little pencil this small. What the hell's that all about?
He's playing a lot of golf. And he's stealing it
Yeah,
from
it's
the
like your
club.
son plays golf, I would imagine, is what it's all about. What does he use that little pencil for?
He's doing his homework.
Get him a mechanical pencil.
Do you use that at school? He doesn't use it at school. He uses a life-size pencil.
Oh, really?
Then he used a mechanical pencil. You know, with a 7.
No, because you know what? The lead. He hates those things. I use mechanical pencils.
Yeah, last
but-
time I used one of those things like third grade. The hell's a mechanical pencil?
It's you press the thing and it makes the lead come out.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
The
mechanical.
manual mechanical pencil.
You know what I use now at work? I use these Japanese pens that are erasable. So when I'm drawing floor plans and I make a mistake, I can erase it, and it's a pen.
Yeah, but what has it got in it? Has it got like graphite or is it
No, it's ink.
Erasable ink?
Japanese ink.
Erasable ink.
Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to Japan
invisible
for
ink.
your stuff, huh? Why don't you get the ones that are made in America?
I get them from Staples, and they're cheap. You know, I get like 3 dozen at a time, and they're inexpensive, and I use those now instead of a pencil. I used to use mechanical pencils, and
They'd be cheaper if they didn't have a tariff on them.
Japan, no, I don't think there's a tariff. But yeah, so I for one reason or another, I don't remember the name of it. I'd have to look at the box, but we just order them from Staples, and it's wonderful. I use them once in a while, and somebody looks at it.
What
and
do
says,
they? Wait
"Oh,
a minute. What do they refer to them as? They refer to them as erasable pencil pens.
erasable pen." Yeah. I'd have to look at the Staples
Well,
website.
if I go to Costco, go to Amazon,
It's Staples has it.
and I call it erasable
Pen.
erasable pens. Well, erasable pens right here at
Yeah.
Amazon.
Oh,
Okay.
What's the brand?
Pilot.
Yeah, I think no. I don't
Well,
think
the Vanstec
no.
Pilot has the
Might be a Pilot.
It's the Pilot Frixion.
Yeah, that's it. The Pilot Frixion.
Clicker,
That's what I use.
erasable, refillable, and retractable gel ink pens. Boy, that's
Now
a
a word
lot.
from our sponsor.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
They work. So I'll use them, and somebody will say, "Oh, that's fantastic." I say, "Here, take that." But instead, I never use a pencil anymore, and this is much better. It doesn't smudge.
Really?
Nice.
Okay, well, it sounds like a good idea. You know what I went and got today? You see the lights in back of me up here? See, the light over there, if I go, I love doing this on the show because I go, Echo, turn off studio. There we go.
Yeah.
See? You see? Echo, turn on studio. There we go. So anyway, so I got that, right? But the lights up here are like these candelabra type lights. I just got 4 of them today.
Let me show you.
That
You see
are
this
that are
little clicker
Wi-Fi.
here?
Mm-hmm.
You see this clicker?
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't.
Oh my God, he got scary for a second.
Yeah, it got
guys.
scary. Yeah, but what I'm
It's
going
gonna
to
blow
do
us
is I'm
all
going
up.
to put them in.
It's like the Zodiac.
I'm going to put them in there
Right.
so I can turn on.
I'm going to kill us all.
So I can turn on all the lights at once. How's that, huh?
Hot on his trip.
I can too.
No, that's
Got talk. Yeah, he can make a bad guy with that voice.
yeah.
But Phil, I could turn all. I'm nobody's home at my house because my wife is in Germany and I'm in Orlando. I can actually turn on all the lights in my house now with Amazon's app. Just go and turn on all the lights.
Oh,
You
really?
can't do that with your clicker.
Well, that's what I'm doing with.
I don't need to.
Yeah, but I no, but
Florida.
I've also done it in the bathroom, in the cupboard, and I've done the pantry,
great.
and I'm doing this here, and it drives Marjorie nuts because she doesn't like it.
Oh, wow.
And that, you know why? Because she's an old fart. That's why she doesn't like it. You know.
Be even more fun if you could control the bidet, huh?
Yeah. Or buy her a vibrator. You know.
Sit on top of it.
And then be sitting in here going, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Echo, high speed.
Go rotate.
Yeah. Echo, send me to heaven. Yeah. Oh, no, hold on a second.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
I don't know that one. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. I can't.
You haven't programmed that one yet.
Well, see, the thing is, I should say Alexa as the name that I use here, because I don't use that name. And I don't use that name because it would mistake my name for Alexa.
Yeah.
And so I tell it to go with Echo, what's the current temperature?
Right now, it's 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, it's
21.
29
That's
degrees.
cold.
29.
Oh, 29. It's still cold.
Tonight they say it's going to be.
It's colder than a witch's tit.
Yes, right.
With the brass bra.
Yeah. You know, if you say something like, is it colder than a witch's tit, then it'll go dunk. You know, so it doesn't like you to do
Will
it.
it really go dunk?
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What is it? Echo, is it colder than a witch's tit?
I'm not
Dunk.
sure.
I don't. Wait a minute. She said something. Hold on a second. Echo, is it colder than a witch's tit?
Sorry, I'm not
I
sure.
think she said yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Okay.
Yeah.
What the
How
hell
cold is
are
a
you
witch's
talking
tit?
about?
Yeah. Okay.
about
Echo,
29
how
degrees.
cold is a witch's tit?
I'd rather not answer that.
Only 29 degrees.
Okay. And there's a picture of a puppy going. Yeah, and I'm not kidding you. I wish I could show it to you, but would have to pick it up. Actually, what I should do is I probably should hook up the speaker on here to one of my pots here so I can then, you know, ask her questions during the show and you can hear the answer better.
It's like the magic 8-ball.
It's a magic 8-ball. Yeah.
You know, they're saying that these devices listen to what you
They do.
say,
I don't
and then
get
they
it.
start sending you advertisements that, you know,
No.
if you're sitting around the house talking about buying a pair of shoes. I was in a meeting today, and they were talking about geofencing, where you're in a store, and all of a sudden my ads will pop up. If they look at their phone or Google.
I'm trying to think, how many do I
Alex will
have?
get a witch's tit in the mail tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think they'll bill them for
I
two
have
of them.
I have six Alexa devices.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you need one in every room so that you can right now I could turn the lights on in the pantry, you know.
Yeah.
So if I want to go in there ahead of time, I can just turn on the lights, you know.
You're like Taxi Driver that bought all of those. What's the book? Not Canterbury Tales. What was the book? Caldwell.
What?
What's his name?
The Catcher in the Rye?
Catcher in the Rye. Yeah. So on the guy bought all of these
That was Hinckley.
things. A Catcher in the Rye.
No, that was
you're
Hinckley.
just doing it with Alexis.
It wasn't Taxi Driver. It was Hinckley.
J.D. Salinger.
Yeah, but in the movie, the guy who drove the taxi, who was that?
Oh, that was
Delivery.
Travis Bickle.
De Niro. Yeah.
Travis Bickle.
Was that the name of the guy in the movie?
Travis Bickle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe you're thinking
These
'cause
are
he was a-
names you should remember. I mean, they're names in films that are iconic. Travis Bickle is one of them, right, Rob? Norman Bates, of course, is another one. You know, there's several.
Well, we know that because Tony is channeling him.
Well, Tony is Norman Bates. Yeah. Well, Norman Bates before his mother died.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's still alive, I think.
Huh? Yeah. But he, once she dies, he's stuffing her because he's not giving up the $52,000 a year.
Like
I'm
my
thinking
weekend
about
with
not
Bernie.
saying nothing to
It's up in the
nobody.
window.
Huh?
Yeah, it is, Bernie.
Yeah. Now, do you have to on that since you're taking care of your mother and getting paid $52,000 or more a year plus 4 weeks vacation?
I get more than
and health benefits.
Yeah.
Can you
which I just
believe
went to
this,
the doctor.
Josh? Can you believe this?
Is that just the New
It's
York
only
thing?
because De
Wait a minute,
Blasio
wait, hold on a
is the
second.
mayor.
Josh asked a question. What?
I didn't say
Oh,
anything.
you didn't say anything. Did somebody ask
Nope,
a
sorry.
question?
I said, is that just a New York thing?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think in most states now they have some kind of like you can take care of a loved one and get paid for it. You know.
I see her as a paycheck
Granted,
now.
that's way
Yeah.
more than my wife earns.
I hug her and I say, every 2 weeks you give back me so much.
what were you saying, Rob?
I learned to cook.
That's more money than my wife earns as a dialysis tech.
I
She
can't wait to
take
get
care of
Really?
my mother who's in an assisted living facility.
Wow, that's
and
good.
I still
Right?
sell the comics out every day.
is
Ship out the
my
next day.
mother is spending about $6,000 a month for assisted living. She could be living at my house, and my wife could be getting $52,000 a year.
Wow.
That's
And you can
crazy.
be divorced.
No. I mean, my wife. That's what my wife's been.
I think it's terrific.
I think it's terrific too.
I mean, we were paying for a private lady $20 an hour to $25 before I took over the job. I couldn't wait to fire her.
Don't you need some sort of
Certification?
or-
Actually, I asked her that. I need a certification if I want to help another patient other than my mother, which I'm going to get certified come January. I'm going to take
Oh,
classes.
believe
at
me,
night.
Tony, you're already certified.
I know, crazy.
Certifiable.
I'm just going to verify it. I mean, how hard can this be? I'll call you from the class, Alex, but I'm
Yeah,
taking
but,
this
no,
test.
but you're going to go
Sleep.
get the whole thing, so in case your mother dies, you can go take care of some other sick person.
Or, you know what the lady told me? If you ever want another patient for a couple of hours, I said, I don't want another patient.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now,
already.
do you have to prove you work so many hours?
Yeah, I have to call in every morning, and then I'll call in during the day so they know I'm here. Like, other than that, that's it. I call into my contact.
Are you wearing one of those bracelets on your ankle?
No. He's in Brooklyn now.
Yeah.
I tied it to the bed. Don't worry about it. Don't answer the phone. No, so if I take this class, I mean, the lady says it's like a month or two. It's like how hard can this be? I said,
It's not that hard. It's not that.
Yeah.
My wife has that cert.
You know what I noticed? All joking aside, I noticed something about myself that I got a lot of patience now more. Like I never thought I had the patience to do this. And I actually feel like I grew, as crazy as it sounds. And I'm not just laying in. I feel like I grew as a person.
You
money aside.
seem happier since you're not stuffing hats in boxes anymore.
Yeah, it's like I felt like I was just like doing, like I had no, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe if I was getting paid half, I'd hate the job. I'm joking.
At least you've got a profession, right?
You're doing
Right.
something.
And Alex, I roll out of bed. I'm in work. I walk around in my pajamas all day. When I want to go out, I just put my pants on.
You know what I noticed? All of a sudden,
It's like I'm living a dream. I can't get over it.
I don't have any audio on. Oh, there we go. Well, I didn't have any audio on the Facebook feed tonight.
I was wondering if my iPad was going bad because I called it up and there was no audio and I figured it was my iPad.
I just turned it up now, and there is audio now. But everybody's probably online. I'm sure it says "fuck you, Alex." Are you still alive? No, that's not it. Let me see here. Wow.
Shit happens and then you live. Sound familiar?
Yeah, I wrote that to you.
Yep.
Shit happens and then you live.
I put it up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Shit
Remember the
happens, then
days
you
when
live.
shit happens and you died?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, how times have changed. But
That was eat shit and die.
Yeah.
well, we know
It wasn't shit happens.
It was it was shit. Shit happens and then you die was the saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
So now I changed it to shit happens.
My mother
and
always
live.
told me to eat shit and die.
Yeah, both of them, I think.
Well,
Or life's a bitch and then you divorce one.
Yeah.
I probably have terminal prostate.
And they're done
cancer.
that.
I probably have terminal prostate cancer. So what do I care? So, and then I will eat shit and die.
Yeah. Well, you know, you could end up living, and then
I had my big biopsy on Tuesday.
Yeah?
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there going to be no show Tuesday then, huh?
I probably won't do a show Tuesday night. I just rather because I'm have to get up so early to do it that I'd be too tired by the time I got to do the show. So I'll take the night off. You know, I won't be in any pain after it. I don't think. What do you mean?
You're slightly uncomfortable.
What do you mean slightly uncomfortable? Is that like the doctor when he says this is going to pinch a little?
It's gonna hurt, I bet.
Yeah, well, at that time, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's fine after.
Yeah.
Do they numb you though?
Yeah.
They should numb you, right?
Yeah, just
How do
go
they
to
numb
sleep
your
early.
prostate?
Well, it's only a 10-minute procedure, so it's just they say it's mildly uncomfortable. That's it. You know.
I know it's only 10 minutes, but it feels like an hour.
Oh, shut up! Will you? You really?
He's got some bedside manner.
You know, I could have had him. I could have waited for it until he got an anesthesiologist in, because he gets one in once a month, and I could have had him put me out. But he said to me, you know, it's really unnecessary. You know.
Why don't you take like a Valium or something? And,
Well, that's what I said. He said to do. Yeah. He said that'll take care of you. He says no. You're not. He says, I said, what would you suggest? He says, I think that it would be totally ridiculous, you know.
Has he done
put
it?
you out.
Has he had the procedure?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, right, exactly.
Let's trade places. I'll do it if you do it.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah.
They always say that, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a piece of cake.
He's saying that, but he's
just
probably
wait.
shooting up.
Just
It
wait.
really hurts me more than it hurts me more than it hurts you.
Yeah. Or my favorite is you won't feel any pain. It'll just be pressure. You just feel pressure.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah, you'll feel pressure. Well, yeah.
And I always want to say you're right, because I went to a drug dealer before I came here, and I'm high as fuck.
Well, that's not the worst part. I'm going to have to wait 5 days for the results, and it's over a weekend, so it'll probably be more like 6 or 7 days. So.
Because you're doing it on a Tuesday. What do you mean a weekend?
Well, because it would take 5 days to get it back, so it might not be back till a Saturday, you know, and so I wouldn't get it till a Monday, because the doctor ain't coming in Saturday saying, "Oh, Alex's stuff is coming in," you know. So,
do your tests get posted on a app or something for you to look at, or do you have to hear it from the doctor?
The doctor always has to. I used to go to Quest to get PSA tests. Okay.
Yeah.
And I could go online after he told me.
Oh, okay.
After he told me.
Yeah, like blood tests and stuff I get from Kaiser, maybe the PSA. I only got one so far.
I don't know why I'm going through this. My PSA went down by a whole third.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a big dump, you know. But anyway, it's because of this 4K test that he says gives me a chance of having a Gleason of 7 or better. So I'll do it, and there's a 47% chance I have it. Who knows? I give up, you know. Just fix me and let's have done with it. Give me that radiation. Let me glow in the dark. You know, put those seeds in my prostate. Anyway, let me say goodbye to everybody. First of all, Phil, thank you so much. Josh, thank you. Kathleen, always a pleasure. In fact, I'd rather see you on this panel than any of these other ugly human beings. Jeff, thank you. Thank you to Rob. We loved having you here. It's great. Do it more. You know, you're terrific. Of course, Kevin, you're wonderful. And we, of course, love Tony because he's funnier than he's ever been. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll wave back. Okay, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Citizens Panel. I will hang up on these motherfuckers. Let me see here. Let me do that. Get rid of them. And hang up on, and then get rid of Skype. And then it's all ready for the next show. And the next show happens to be Jack Bishop and the Intersection. He'll be taking calls on the same Skype line that we've been doing this show on. I'll see you tomorrow, right after Damien. Hopefully, will be back tomorrow. He does a show at 9:30, and then I'll be here at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. In the meantime, if you see her, as always, tell her I love her. Okay. Bye bye, everybody. See you later.